Have you ever felt a chill when someone's words suddenly twist your reality? Have you noticed how one tiny, almost innocent word can leave you doubting yourself long after the conversation ends? Manipulators know this, and they use it like a weapon, a subtle signal of control that most people never see until it's too late. In this deep dive, we're going to look at a psychological tactic that hides in plain sight. It's not flashy or loud, it's quiet, invisible, and devastatingly effective. When someone seeks control in a relationship, they rarely do it by shouting or making dramatic threats. Instead, they lean into something more psychological, small, persistent patterns that shape your perception of yourself and your reality. This kind of behavior doesn't happen by accident. Many people who use manipulation learned early in life that direct requests don't work. That power lies in subtlety, and that emotional control is safer and more effective than open confrontation. Psychologists tell us that manipulative tendencies often grow from childhood experiences where honesty was punished, feelings were ignored, or power was taken from them. They might have witnessed it in a parent, learned it from someone they admired, or adopted it as a way to navigate their world. Research into narcissistic and dark personality traits like Machiavellianism reveals that these behaviors can also be amplified by a lack of empathy and a heightened focus on self-interest. Many manipulators believe they're simply protecting themselves or playing a game everyone else is already playing. It's a dark lens, one that sees control as a necessary part of survival, and so they lean on language. Words, when carefully chosen, shape reality. One word can make a partner feel small. One word can shift blame. One word can erode self-trust. And one of the most common words manipulators use is deceptively simple. Just. Why just, you might ask? Because it minimizes, it dismisses, it gently redefines your feelings as insignificant, without ever sounding openly harsh. Think back, someone says you're just overreacting, or I was just joking, and instantly, the power shifts. Suddenly, you feel foolish for even feeling upset. That's the genius of this one word. It hides blame under the surface and steers the narrative away from the manipulator entirely. Consider the partner who consistently hurts you with passive-aggressive remarks, but responds with, I was just teasing, every time you call them out. On the surface, it looks innocent. Underneath, it's a pattern of control, denying your perception, brushing aside your pain as if it's something trivial. It's a subtle rewiring of your instincts that teaches you to question yourself first. That's the quiet magic of just, and once you recognize it, you'll see it everywhere. Or picture the boss who sets impossible expectations, then says, I was just hoping you'd do more. It seems like a gentle nudge until you realize it's never enough. And that is exactly what they intend. It's control built on guilt and confusion. Researchers at Northwestern University have studied how minimization, a tactic of emotional invalidation, slowly erodes self-esteem. Every time someone responds with just, they shrink your reality and insert their own version in its place. It's more than a word. It's an entire strategy. And this is what makes manipulators so dangerous. They rarely need overt threats because they already understand the power of subtlety. The word just becomes their toolkit, a catch-all that turns your protests into overreactions, your emotions into nuisances. Even when you call them on it, they'll often reply, I just didn't mean it that way. It's twisting intention into an escape hatch, so they never have to take real responsibility. Have you ever paused to wonder why someone never quite seems to mean the hurt they cause you? It's by design. We live in a culture where being accommodating is often seen as virtuous, where saying yes is easier than pushing back. Manipulators exploit that softness. They know most people would rather preserve the peace than insist on their boundaries. Every time they add just to a request, can you just do this one thing for me? They make you feel difficult if you hesitate. They twist a favor into an obligation and leave you feeling guilty if you say no. It's so subtle you hardly recognize you're being manipulated at all. And once you recognize the pattern, it's everywhere. In friendships that always feel one-sided, in workplaces where you seem to do most of the work, in relationships where your feelings seem to matter less, that one word becomes a quiet signal, telling you that your perspective isn't really valid. But the most painful part is that you often believe it. Have you ever wondered why you go along with things that make you uncomfortable? It's not weakness. It's conditioning, built one tiny word at a time. If this is starting to sound personal, it's because this tactic is everywhere. woven into the language of those who want control without ever asking for it directly. They rarely see themselves as manipulative. They feel they're just being practical, just trying to help or just making a point. Even they may believe their own innocence, which makes the behavior all the more powerful. But there's a way to take that power back. It begins with noticing the word as soon as it appears, feeling the subtle shift that follows. The next time someone says, "I was just," pause and recognize what they're really doing. Give yourself permission to hold your ground without shame. Even a simple reply like, "I hear you, but my feelings still matter," can reclaim the space they hope to erase. Every moment you resist the minimization, you loosen the grip of the word and the control it carries. That's where your real power lies, not in confrontation for its own sake, but in clear self-awareness. When you stop allowing your emotions to be just anything, too much, too small, too loud, you change the story entirely. This is how you begin to see manipulators for what they are and protect yourself without losing your empathy. Some people will never stop using these tools. That's who they are, and their patterns won't change easily. But you can change the way you respond. You can take back the power they hope to steal, one careful, conscious boundary at a time. Because there is nothing just about your feelings. And once you recognize this one small word for what it is, it stops holding you captive. Somewhere deep down, we all deserve to speak freely, without being minimized or manipulated into silence. The next time someone tries to dismiss you with that quiet little word, remember this moment, and remember who really holds the power. Protect your energy. Stay curious. Subscribe for more from Beneath the Cortex.